You got to trust your talent, is what that man said to me. Oh, go ahead, man. Oh, so he got so used to podcasting, he think he could just jump in anytime he want like it's his. You know what I mean? You want to go ahead and you want to take it right here, man? You sure?
My apologies, OG.
This ain't R&B money, dog.
Everything is R&B money.
R&B money. But he said, got me over here sounding like Sway. Can I cuss? I'm like, we live. We just different over here.
Come on, man. That ain't Tank sitting next to you, dog.
Way prettier over there. Listen, they be talking about his little muscles and all that. This is way prettier over
Tank
here.
pretty though. Hey, Tank.
Nah. Get him out of here.
Come on, man.
I'm here by myself today.
You here by you didn't bring that guy?
Nah, man. He costs too much.
He costs too much.
You know what?
Well, what's interesting about our next guest is we had a guy by the name of B-Boy Crumbs here the other day. He from a B-Boy crew called Style Elements out of Fresno. They've been breaking for over 30 years, and now they're breaking us in the Olympics. He's going to be one of the judges. And I said, what makes you hip-hop? And he said, because to me, I came in as dance, but we're really true hip-hop. We do it all. We dance, we break, we DJ, we write, meaning graph writers. We're fully immersed in the culture. When I think of our next guy, our next guest, when it comes to artistry, he truly does it all. He sings, he writes, he produces, he manages. He's truly done it all. He even has his own podcast, R&B Money. A lot of you guys remember him from the first hit he had, She's Worth the Trouble. That was back in 2006. I remember him from the iconic group from the Bay Area.
Come on.
Called the Neutrons,
You gotta
ladies
say
and
it all.
gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, he has done it with them all. He has worked with everybody from Whitney Houston to Chris Brown to helping to resurrect and sustain Tank's career. Ladies and gentlemen.
Tank gonna get you.
Yes, he is.
Tank, me and Tracy ain't got nothing to do with that bullshit.
No, we love you, Tank.
Keep us out of that.
I don't want no part of that. God.
Tank got the muscles.
Somebody had to deal with it, you know what I mean? And he chose to do so, but ironically, because of all of that, he is floating back into the scene. He has as an artist, as a performing artist, but he's here for so many different reasons. He recently released a single with Chris Brown. We just played it, Unlonely. His family has been through a lot, and he has prevailed. Look at this, man. Give it up for the one and only Jay Valentine. Say Jay Valentine. Jay Valentine.
Give yourself a clap.
Jay Valentine. Come on, man. They said the Neutrons. That sound like... Didn't they? What was that doing? The Neutron dance?
Oh yeah.
You really going there? You really going there today?
Those are Pointer Sisters, right?
Yo, the Pointer Sisters are
from the Bay.
From the Bay.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a lot of gangster R&B singers. Lenny Williams.
Lenny Williams was from
Tony.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know Lenny was. I knew Tony.
In Vogue. Yes.
That's right.
Keisha Cole.
Keisha Cole.
Kaylani. There's a lot of gangster R&B
Facts.
singers.
Is the Northern California the most gangster place for R&B? Like the most gangster R&B artists come from Northern California? Would you say? Like
During the hyphy movement, I used to
get up on that mic.
During
You
the
do this
hyphy
now.
movement, I used to wear a bulletproof vest.
No way.
No lie.
Wait, why?
It was nasty out there. It was nasty.
See, during the hyphy movement,
During the hyphy movement,
but between the years of what?
This is the first time I've ever said that. In 2000, I mean, the hyphy movement was a little before, but when we were really immersed in it, it was probably 2004, 5, to like 2007.
You wore a bulletproof vest because of the Oakland, the Bay Area environment?
Just because of when my record broke, shout out to Big Von.
Okay.
Shout out to Big
Big
Von.
Von from the
Always.
Bay, man. Big Von is the oracle. He's the gatekeeper, Northern California.
When he broke my first record out there, which was the take from the T-Pain record, he had I'm Sprung, and I took it and I made it go dumb.
Yep.
And it was a Bay Area record, and I was doing probably 4 clubs a week. I'm talking on the low though. Like that was a light week. Like some nights I would go from San Jose to Oakland, back to San Francisco, and then if we had something in like Sebastopol, all the way in past Marin County, we would just jump and jump and jump and jump. So there's, I mean, those areas got different people that run them areas. You know what I mean? And it's a different politic in each city.
Did you ever get confronted? Was there ever an incident that made you think I gotta wear the vest next time?
I mean, we had a couple incidents.
Like what?
We had a couple incidents. Are the statute of limitations?
Yeah, bro. Like,
You don't know, right, man. Don't name no names.
No, you walking that op level right now. So you walking the op line.
You don't have to name
you
names.
see how Jay's looking at me like, what is Sway
Because he
about
trying
this?
to make sure he good.
It's only as good as your answer.
Exactly. So that is my answer.
Oh, nah, man.
Don't opt yourself sitting next to Sway, homie.
When did you take off the vest?
Wait, hold up. Come back. Well, no, give me an example of an incident that might have happened. Might have.
An incident that might have happened was, this before I had kids, this before I grew up, and I get this phone call.
Possibly.
I get this phone call, and maybe I have like 4 girls in the car with me.
Okay.
I don't know how. Somehow they end up in the car. I like big cars.
Okay.
So if you know about me, I don't really drive the 2-seaters. I drive the big body Benz, the big body this, the big body that, right? So,
that's fair enough.
they can fit.
Okay.
So I was coming from Oakland, allegedly, and we're coming across the bridge and my phone go off, and one of my guys is on the other line. He's like, yeah, man, they just pulled a thing on such and such. I'm already halfway there. By the time I get there, Cass is going this way, running that way, and I'm jumping out of the car thinking I'm, Goldie.
Goldie is the main character
I
from
know
the
who
movie The
Goldie is.
Max.
Look, come on, man, don't do that.
Made in Oakland. They don't know.
Don't do. Yes, they do know who
all right.
Goldie is. Come on, man.
All right, I'm just saying.
You know what I'm saying?
My bad.
Now, nigga, can you buy that? So I jump out the car like that. And, we had to do some rundowns, man. And we was trying to figure out who was who. And next thing I know, I'm in the car with the girls. And allegedly, they're like, what are we doing? I said, well, we chasing niggas.
That's a direct
New
quote.
T-shirt alert.
Where's the song with those lyrics?
Chasing niggas.
This is why I don't do interviews.
Yo, this is why. Welcome to your first interview
Sway,
a year.
man. God.
You gotta
opt you
do
in.
this, man.
How did we start here?
From the Bay, man. People knew, like when you from the Bay, it's a whole different mentality. The neighborhood you grew up in.
Yes.
Name some of the artists that the JT.
So I'm from Fillmore.
Fillmore, JT, the bigger figure.
Listen, we purposely take the R out, so please don't put it back in. I get it. Hey man, are you from Fillmore? No, nigga.
This is torture's kind of interview.
Nah, but
Ronsky.
no, we're gonna start rapping Forte.
Rapping Forte.
Come on, he brought that
Club.
he brought that platinum plaque
Players
back to
Club.
San Francisco
Come on.
for the Players Club. With the twins, Guy and Fly.
Okay.
And Frankie J. Like, listen, they did it early.
Frankie J.
They did it early.
Come on.
And that was Hunters Point and Fillmore connected.
Coming to the 2 different neighborhoods, guys, in case y'all didn't know what that is.
yeah.
Okay,
Wow,
HP.
really?
Shout out to HP.
Shout out to HP.
Larry June is from.
Harbor Road.
Larry
Okay.
HP. His father, Big Larry, is actually my father's young guy.
Okay.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So it's all connected. I got a little brother from Harbor.
Ronsky.
Yes, man. Listen, so
San
Quinn, Bailey, John Toriano, who has the biggest vegan restaurant in the Bay now. So just a lot of talent. Messy Marv, man.
Messy Marv,
man.
Come on.
I can't get. We got a record together called "Say Love" that I can't get away from to this day.
Where's Zaytoven from?
Fillmore.
Come on, let's
Fillmore.
go. Oh, wait a
Come
minute.
on.
Did y'all know?
Yeah. Found by
Where you from, Sway?
JT the Bigger Figure.
There you go.
Yeah.
Who's been all around the world.
Seth
You
the
watch that-
Gafflet.
Come on.
Demo.
Come on.
Yeah.
I'm from the other side, Heather.
He from the town.
I'm from the town. It's different. A little different over there.
He from
So you singing R&B.
the town.
Did people laugh at you because all of them were rapping?
Nah, well, I come from a different type of family, so nobody, they just kind of accepted what we were because my father was so wild that it was like, I wish you niggas would laugh that my sons is singing and dancing.
Your dad was?
What?
Your dad had a rep. I don't know if you knew this.
Yes.
Because your family had a crew called the Neutrons.
So our group was called the Neutrons, but my family is the Newts, the Tatums, and the Beasleys.
Okay.
And,
What does that mean?
It's history. It's a lot of history, and it's something that's been around in the Bay Area probably for going on 80, 90 years, where it was just
80, 90 years.
yeah,
Those families.
Yeah. Like my great grandmama, Big Mama Newt was,
What was she known for?
paraphernalia. Drug. Yeah.
Okay.
So it started there. It started there.
How would you describe then the energy that you feel like you inherited? Like, what is the adjectives that are a part of your family DNA that you have, character-wise?
We're hustlers. Mm-hmm. We're hustlers. We are going to make something out of nothing. That's literally what it's been for me. And for me, I've been able to take that mentality and do something positive and legal with it. But we have the same mindsets. I talk to my big cousins all the time, and they're extremely proud of me because I've been able to make that transition. Like, I grew up in visiting rooms. Like that is my childhood for the most part. If it was my father, if it was my mother, if it was my cousins, if it was uncles. You
lost your brother, right?
Well, I lost my brother to the streets. So it was.
That's real.
It was just a kind of that was the storyline.
Now that you've become successful, my bad, Heather, have you seen a change in your family line? Like, have you seen your influence?
Yeah. Like, I got a cousin. Actually, Big Rich is my cousin.
Big Rich is your cousin?
Big Rich is my cousin, and we talk about it. We talk about it all the time. How the Neutrons were, in a sense, we were like the vessel.
Yeah.
For people to see that, you can do something different. Or, this can make sense, and be successful. Even though we ran into some some different type of stuff that kind of derailed where our careers were going at that point, but it still was an inspiration to younger guys that were coming up in the Bay within our family, and just people who were watching. Like, it was people who saw us on Soul Train.
Yeah.
Who saw us on,
we couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Like, we sitting on the couch with Donnie Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So for some kids from San Francisco and from the projects in San Francisco, like we were inspiring a lot of people that we didn't even know we were inspiring.
Mm-hmm. We didn't think that was possible. Heather, I'm gonna let you jump in. Go for it.
You said something that is a big conversation amongst me and my friends when we talk about incarceration.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's a good idea to bring young children on visits?
That's tough. I think it's case by case. I feel like if I was ever in that situation, I wouldn't want my children to come see me, because I wouldn't want them to see me like that. But I do feel like it did build a different character for me and for my brothers and sisters. But yeah, I think that's a case. But you have to decide that in your own household. You can. I'm not the one to say, don't bring your kid. I would do my time by myself if that was me.
And I asked because you did mention before you had kids, and so, and I'm just wondering because you had to see it, and I'm glad you answered it that way. You saw it as a kid, but you would not want your children to see you like that. Got it.
That's tough. Like, leaving the visiting room it's literally like a bad movie every single time. It's never the same thing of like, I know what this is going to be. It's like you're watching somebody walk your parent away, and you watching, are you talking through some glass window?
Yep.
That shit is terrible. Doing this dumbass shit.
Yeah, that don't make pounding through the
put your hand on the glass.
You don't feel nothing.
Especially after COVID, you can't be putting your hand on the glass.
Come on, Jay Valentine. Come on, man. Where that come from, man?
Get out.
It's very insensitive.
You gotta laugh through it sometimes.
Let's do some little more history, because from what I recollect with the Neutrons and your dad, by the way, how many siblings do you have?
Man, well, rest in peace to my father. But it depended on what day you would ask him. So what's today?
Today's
Thursday?
yeah.
We Thursday today? We on Thursday today. Okay. Thursday it could have been 25, 27. On Tuesday, maybe he didn't fell out with one or two of them, so now it's down to 18.
So how many you think he really had? How many siblings you think you have?
I've met. Shit, man. I'm about to be up here. I'm about to be up here like one of the homies that's a football player that was naming his kids. I ain't gonna say his name, but that's the homie. I would say probably about 17 of us though. Really about, like as he would say, 17 deep, no sleep.
Wow. Here's the interesting thing about Jay Valentine.
I only have two.
You only have two?
I have two.
Okay.
I have two.
I
know that for sure.
What if I ask you tomorrow?
Nope, not tomorrow.
Nothing
neither.
changes?
Listen,
Okay.
I've done well with my life for a long time, so I think by now they would have said something.
Okay.
Yeah, they popped out on me.
Especially now.
What?
Yeah.
Especially now. This resurgence you're having.
Yeah.
It's quite phenomenal. Because
it's been cool.
It's been all right.
Yeah, it's been cool.
It's been phenomenal.
I had a moment yesterday.
What happened?
I had a moment yesterday. I am going through TSA.
Yes.
TSA is actually the funnest part of being recognized at this point. Right? That is, and I used to say that. Me and Tank used to have this conversation. I'm like, oh, you cracking when TSA start talking to you and stopping you.
Yeah.
That's how you know you cracking.
Yeah.
Because they see everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So they be saying, oh, I seen that last interview or whatever, right? So it's, I flew in early. So it was maybe 5 a.m. And I'm walking through, and of course I got on a San Francisco Giants hat in L.A., and, the TSA guy's like, oh, this is Dodger Town. And we going back and forth on that. And then I look and I'm like, nigga, that's Reading Rainbow.
LeVar Burton?
Right? I'm like,
Nigga, that's Reading Rainbow.
You gonna put that on a t-shirt too? So I'm literally like, oh shit, right? I'm having a moment. Listen, we all grew up on LeVar Burton.
Kunta Kinte.
Reading Rainbow. Like, come on, man.
Come on, Star Trek.
You can't act funny style if you see LeVar Burton, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I stopped mid-conversation with the TSA dude. I'm like, because he telling him he got to walk back because he beeped. I said, hey, man, you going to tell Reading Rainbow he got to walk through twice? Man, you disrespectful, dog. So I walk through before him. I get on the little elevator thing before he does, and we meet in the club, and he goes, Jay Valentine. I'm like, what? Nigga, me? That is me. Right? And he's extremely gracious, and he's literally calls me a legend.
Kunta called you a legend.
On my mama. And I was not deserving. I do not feel deserving of that coming from him. But just how gracious and respectful he was as who he is. Mm-hmm. It tripped me out. And then I kind of walked to the plane on, I was floating a little bit like, they called me a legend, dog.
You earned that, man. LeVar, get that a round of applause.
So shout out to LeVar Burton.
For real.
He actually has a new documentary that they just put out called Butterfly in the Sky.
Damn, and then he gave him a cross promotion. Come on, man. I like that. Jay Valentine is here. But this is your 40s now, bro. Mm-hmm. And it's bigger than you were in your 20s and your 30s.
Man, literally. Yeah. It is. It is.
And
purposely.
Why? Because you kind of faded out of the game on purpose.
Yeah, I am.
You stepped back. When did that happen? What made that happen?
My kids.
Okay.
My kids. My son initially. When I was. So right after She Worked the Trouble came out, my son was born. Mm-hmm. And I started to deal with some of the label issues and the different things that were going on with that. And I just always remembered, and I had these they're not gonna play with me moments. Mm-hmm. Which, as I would say to my younger self and to artists who are coming up and executives and different people in this business, don't get so caught up in that.
Okay.
I think I was reverting back to that childhood and
the street mentality.
The things that you were asking me about that I still was carrying in that street mentality. And I should have realized that there are certain things in this business that if you want this, you're going to have to, sacrifice some of the other things. And sometimes, you're going to have to put yourself in a position of understanding. Mm-hmm. I think in the hood, we look at it as they playing with me.
Yep.
and you're not looking at both sides. You're not looking at, and now we're gonna start talking business and R&B money. That you're not looking at when somebody has a bonus package connected to your deal. You're not thinking about, when certain dollars are spent, that there are more people that are affected by that than just you. But as artists, it's a very singular thing for artists. Artists are very, for lack of a better term, egotistical.
Yeah.
And me. Especially, that's really why we don't have any R&B groups. Right? I mean, we'll get to that, I'm sure. But why we don't have that either, because people are so caught up in themselves that they don't think about the ancillary things that are around them and the people that are affected by what they do or what they don't do. And there were certain things that I wasn't doing.
Like what?
I didn't do press, which
you still don't do that. The hell? I'm just saying.
He became press.
Okay.
But yes,
okay.
I became press, but then I also put myself in a position of ownership. I put myself in a position of ownership where I was the person that had to look in the mirror. No one else was truly affected by what my decisions were in that sense, right? So then I could operate as such, and if you want to do that, there's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of sleepless nights. Okay, how are we gonna pay this mortgage? How are we gonna pay this, for this car in this private school? You know what I mean? Like, it's a different thing that you have to start thinking to yourself when you want to be a quote unquote boss.
You didn't Bailey and you start a label?
So yeah, I started a label. Bailey was signed to me.
Okay.
So we started a label called City Boys Music, which is hilarious now.
Who's
because
Bailey,
Bailey's from our neighborhood too. That's San Quinn's little brother.
Okay.
They're like family to me.
Okay.
But the funny thing about the name of the company is now, the City Boys thing has, and City Boys and City Girls.
Yeah.
I started City Boys in 2003, 4. But it wasn't about that type of city boying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ours was, so San Francisco is the city, Oakland is the town. So we were the City Boys because we were from San Francisco.
Right.
Nothing to do with anything else other than that and he'll tell you in the Bay, when we leave the Bay, we love each other.
We're all one.
When we're in the Bay, it kind of turns into gangs.
Okay.
And it kind of turns, all them niggas is from the city, all them niggas from the town, all them niggas from EPA.
Minded, let's say that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
More compartmentalized.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But when we're anywhere else, I'm talking about we can be in the middle of Afghanistan. And somebody yells yee, or somebody do the get low, or somebody do, we form like Voltron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for us, that's what the name was about. That's what so so when I see it now, I laugh every time.
City Girls.
Oh man. Shout out to the City Girls.
Shout out to the City Girls.
Shout out to QC. Shout out to Simone. P and Coach and Ethiopia that helped build that whole thing over there. Like
that was
they've
right.
done amazing.
I want to go over a couple of things, but since you brought that up, and you do this magnificent salute to the R&B Money Podcast.
Amen.
My gosh, right on time.
Yeah, necessary.
And the right people doing it.
Thank you.
I agree.
And people love going up there.
They've had a good time with us, man.
Yeah, because y'all real artists as well. Y'all just start mid-conversation, bust out in the song.
No, Tank does.
Tank is always singing.
Tank literally is a jukebox.
Yeah. He busts out into song. Working with Whitney Houston.
So I didn't work with Whitney Houston.
Okay.
I sang
You
background.
sang background.
I sang background on a record for I sang background on the only Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey duet.
Okay.
Yeah, for the the Prince of Egypt soundtrack.
Yeah.
You know it better than I do.
Yeah.
David Foster was producing the record or producing the soundtrack. I don't know. And damn, I'm about to sound like I'm pouring champagne. And and Babyface called me.
Oh my gosh. You got to say everybody's name to tell a story?
You do.
To tell this one, I do.
Okay, all right.
Because I got to, it's like,
Don't hate, Sway.
because then it turns into, how the fuck this nigga end up at David Foster house?
Okay, so
Right?
Babyface.
So Babyface, I was working with Babyface and Damon Thomas at the time. And they were putting together like singers, or kind of a choir in a sense, to sing on this record. I didn't even know what it was for, but I'm like, oh, it's David Foster. My brother Bob went with me. He sang on it, And we get in there and we end up singing on this record that becomes
that song for Prince of Egypt.
Yeah, for Prince of Egypt.
But you didn't do it in studio with Whitney.
No. I did it with Dave Foster.
You never met her.
No.
And didn't even know what the background vocals was going to be for them?
I didn't. It was more so just, going and singing and doing something. I think I was maybe 18 at the time. I was like, damn, like I get to go in the studio with David Foster. Of course, I'll go.
Mm-hmm.
So and it turned out to be Prince of Egypt soundtrack, which sold a gang of records. I still got to order my plaque for that.
Come on, Jay Valentine. You already got a plaque. I still got to order my plaque. Slipped my mind. I was on the way to the grocery store.
No.
I need to do laundry, and I need to order my platinum plaque from the Prince of Egypt soundtrack. Okay, my bad. My diamond platinum plaque. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to minimize you right there. But you have got a chance to meet some interesting people, right?
Very,
very interesting people. Yeah. Tell us about Bubbles.
Man, here you go with this shit, man.
Michael Jackson monkey?
Bubbles was the homie, man.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson monkey.
Wow, that's the only Bubbles I know unless it's a script.
Hey,
for real, Michael Jackson monkey?
They were best friends.
We were not best friends. That nigga tried to bite me. We were not.
Really?
Damn.
He called Bubbles a nigga.
Right, you saw you as competition?
Hey, listen, everybody niggas me. White niggas, Asian niggas.
But your father had
the monkey niggas.
How'd that happen? Your father was working with Joe Jackson? Or?
So my father one day, amongst all of his ideas and dreams, he was like, I'm going to get y'all to the Jacksons. He was like, I'm going to get y'all to the Jacksons. I'm going to make sure that Joe Jackson, Michael Jackson, and Jackson 5, they meet my kids and see that, they're a part of that in that lineage, right? So one day we jump on a school bus that my father had turned into
a tour bus?
A tour bus with a Rolls Royce grill on the front.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And we drive it down to L.A.
With a Rolls Royce grill on the yellow. Was it yellow?
Rolls Royce.
What color was the bus?
Yeah, it was still yellow. It's
Damn, you come a long way, brother.
Long way, man.
So y'all take the school bus.
But you can't decide.
Right.
You can't decide where you born and who you born with and who you born to.
Right.
Or decide if you gonna get on the bus or not. Get on the bus.
It wasn't no choice.
No choices, right? So, and we better practice 16 hours before we get on the bus. So, took this bus ride to Havenhurst, to the legendary street that the Jacksons have. I would call it their street, even though it's not, but it is. So we drove to Havenhurst in Encino, and we sat outside the gate. And my father went and literally talked to the guard at the gate and told him that he was Joe's cousin. And
now your dad too gangster.
But listen. So I kind of give y'all the quick version. He told him, they were cousins, and he said certain Bubba Hemp, who was also from San Francisco, who managed Sly and the Family Stone from Vallejo. Come on, we're gonna shout out all his Bay Area thing.
Sly and the Family Stone.
And Bubba actually had a connection to Motown, to Joe Jackson, the Jackson 5. Rest in peace to Uncle Bub. And that was. So when the guard gate heard my dad's name and the names that he said, man, the gate opened up.
He let him in.
The gate opened up.
What did you think at that moment as a child? Like, is this really happening?
My father is the greatest man who've ever lived in the world. That's what I thought. I'm like, I'm literally, because you gotta think, bro.
Yeah.
I got the Michael Jackson glove. I got the red zipper jacket. I got the socks. We got penny loafers. We were literally come on, man.
The Neutrons were like a little Jackson 5.
Everybody was a Michael Jackson fanatic.
Yeah. Of course.
It was not even close. People start talking about all these other things, and I talk about it on the podcast a lot. You can mention a lot of people, just don't mention them with him.
Don't compare anyone.
Come on, bro. Who else can stand on the stage for 30 minutes and don't say nothing and they just screaming and do this? the penitentiary side profile.
Yo, he did do that.
He did that, bro, on a stage, and people was passing out, and he was like this.
He just stood. Was it 30 minutes?
Nah, I'm joking when I say that, but
it was minutes.
But it felt like it.
Minutes, yeah.
It felt like, you know what? As we get older, that's what we got to start saying. It felt like when we start embellishing our stories.
Yeah, no,
it felt like
you did put some pump on that one.
For sure.
That's why I was like, it wasn't 30
minutes, dog. 30 minutes. Go watch the documentary. 30 minutes, dog.
Okay, all right. But that was Michael Jackson.
But it was Michael Jackson, right?
Yeah.
And just sum it all up, it was Michael Jackson. So when that gate opened up, I was like, oh, they can't tell me nothing about Ron Newt.
Yeah.
Anything's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Anything's possible. Anything that man tells me can happen, I believe can happen. And I think that really, to this day, for me, is the battery in my back.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me I can't do something.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it.
Did you meet Mike that day?
So I don't think Mike was there that day.
Uh-huh.
I don't think he was there that day, but Joe was there, meeting family. Because this was their family home, too.
This is crazy.
Uh-huh.
Like, this is their family home. This is not like, this is Joe's house. Like, this is their family home. So it was, family members. You're going to see Jackie, and you're going to see Rebe, and you're going to see Janet, and like, literally. And they had the studio and the candy house and a zoo.
Yeah.
A miniature zoo.
Mm-hmm.
It was llamas.
Mm-hmm.
It was, it was in Encino. I don't know. I'm sure you've been to Encino. You had a house. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if it was in Encino. That was right next to it, right?
You about to out me?
You see what I just said? It was somewhere by it.
Okay.
Right. Allegedly.
You've been out him or aborted.
It's called
Rat back.
Stab and turn.
Trying to get me back? Okay. But yeah, so it was there.
It had a mini zoo, bro. It had a mini zoo. And yeah, man, that nigga Bubbles was in there.
Wow.
Jay Valentine. Did he run up on you?
No. But for me, like, I was comfortable with animals because we had a lot of animals growing up, and then my father had wild animals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my father had a tiger, and my father had a monkey.
Damn.
Yeah.
Where did y'all keep the tiger and the monkey?
Well, he had the tiger on the top of Hunters Point. Listen, this is documented. This is documented. That yes.
That's like having the tiger. What neighborhood you live in? Well, don't say that. But Hunters Point is a neighborhood.
It's like having a tiger in the Bronx.
In the Bronx, yeah.
That's what it is.
They had a guy who lived across the street from where I used to live in Harlem that had a tiger and an alligator. And remember Torch in that neighborhood? What do you have?
Up the block from me.
Yeah, we Torch used to live right
tiger in the house.
Just strolling down.
Kept it in the house.
Hey, man.
Yeah, but wow, this is fascinating. You met some amazing people in your career.
When you from the jungle, man.
Yo,
Welcome to the jungle.
Yo, Jay Valentine. What happened to the R&B group?
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about
Just in general? I'm pivoting. This is a horrible pivot, but yeah, overall, I'm going back to something you said about why there aren't any R&B groups and individuals being too selfish.
And the egos.
And the egos and the woman.
And
the woman. You've seen 5 Heartbeats.
Yeah. There's always a woman that comes in between her.
Always a woman.
We saw that with B2K.
There's always a woman. Come on, we can go down the line. I won't say the names. That's why I used the fictitious group. I used the group on the movie. But every single group, because I liken R&B to high school. Music, period, but definitely R&B, where we all go there freshman year, and whichever one of us knocks the baddest girl at the school, once she's our girl, don't talk to the rest of them.
Yeah.
Don't. I know we was all friends.
Yeah.
But you don't know them no more. That's what R&B music is. If you look at it, whenever a guy gets the top, and then we'll go away from the group a little bit, but whenever a guy becomes the quote-unquote king of R&B, they don't reach back. The only guy who's ever truly reached back, and I'll stand on this, is Chris Brown.
What about Usher?
I like Usher.
Yeah.
I love his music.
Define reach back then.
Right.
Features.
Okay.
Take you on tour. Put you out as an artist. I mean, the only other artist I can name is Keith Sweat, who put on Silk put on Cut Close. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about. But even when during Keeps Reign, there were R. Kelly's. There were artists that literally were doing all of the shows, doing all of the award shows, doing all were the representation of R&B music. And whenever we have the quote unquote king, it's not a lot of reach back. It's just not.
Wow. I'm racking my brain trying to disprove this.
Not to other like bringing up other men too.
Yeah. What about women?
Right.
R&B artists, Alicia Keys or Mary J. Blige or
Beyonce.
You keep jumping.
Okay, my bad. My bad.
You keep jumping.
My bad.
But even if we go in that space too, it's a very singular business. R&B music is, and I'm not saying that you have to do this. It's not your responsibility. I'm just saying, I'm just spotlighting and highlighting the person that I can say that kind of changed that.
What's Chris Brown?
It's Chris Brown.
Salute to Chris Brown.
I mean, like I'm talking about if Chris likes a record, he hopping on a record. He's not calling his manager asking the manager if they like the record. He's not calling the label saying, will y'all clear it? It's like, no. Chris gonna clear it. If he does it, he may charge a fee, he may not. And to me, that is just a different type of mindset that, in my opinion, is helping R&B music, and that I wished more R&B artists would, but there is a responsibility to that. Because now it's like, when you do when you do make that record, now you got to shoot that video. Now you got to do a little promo for it. Now you may have to bring somebody on stage with you. Everybody don't want somebody on stage with them. So now we go back to the group. You see my transition?
I see that. Yeah, this dude been podcasting.
You know what I mean?
I'm good at this shit, bro. Okay, come bring us. Walk
you
us.
my OG, though, so that's why I got to do this with you.
Yeah, walk me, man. Come
but
on.
now, they're screaming for more than just you on that stage now. When we start talking about the group. Now, you talking about a guy that's in the group that's like, damn, I could sing his parts. Now you turn into choir boy. Oh, yeah, I know Eddie ain't here tonight, but, I know all his parts. Now you turn into him. Or you turn into him at the party after when you just flat out lying, talking about, yeah, that's me up there. I write all the songs. I put this thing together. Nigga, you ain't wrote no songs. But that's what happens in these groups, though, because this whole time they're still fighting for that one woman, and I use the woman as a metaphor, for all things that come from this thing, because that's why we get our hair cut. That's why I spend money on this dumbass watch. The woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't doing this. It's so funny when I see certain things now, and it's like, oh yeah, I do it for me. Man, y'all lying.
They don't even do it for themselves?
Nah, man, they do it for the woman.
They do it for the woman, which is a metaphor for all things.
For all, you know what I mean? For that feeling. We do it for the feeling. But I think what happens is the groups, it starts to turn into like, okay, what's the split? Who wrote the songs? Are we going to, if you're the writer in the group, if you're Paul McCartney, are you just splitting with Ringo, who don't write songs? Because honestly, you probably should, so that y'all can all have, this pot to pull from. And this pie that y'all never have to argue over, because it's like, you know what, bro? We all did this together. That's why I hear songwriters sometimes where they're like, oh, I wrote this song for such and such, and they wanted a percentage. Well, is that song what it is without Beyonce? Or without Usher? Listen, if Usher sings one of my songs, Usher can have a piece, even if you don't if he don't ask for a piece of the publishing or not.
You will offer it to him.
Come on, man, you Usher, bro.
Yeah.
You need 15? You need 25? We're gonna chop that up, because I know what you're going to do with this record.
Yep.
I know where you're going to take this record. Ain't too many of us been on the Super Bowl.
Nah.
Usher been on the Super Bowl. Usher took R&B music to the Super Bowl
and did it right.
Most viewed.
Oh my God!
I DM'd him while he was performing.
Just to react directly.
The DM said, "Killed that shit."
30 seconds later.
Did he ever respond?
Yeah, he responded. Okay, he responded. Shout out to Ush, man.
That was
Like,
amazing.
absolutely. I'm going to give you your flowers.
Yeah.
I have no problem. I know who I am as a man.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem celebrating something that somebody does.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
The same way.
Come on, man.
Jay Valentine.
I'm giving it up. If you do something great in my eyes, I'm saluting you.
How did you end up managing Tank?
I told him I was gonna manage him.
That's it?
Well, we started as writing and production partners. We met through the Underdogs.
Mm-hmm.
So the Underdogs, if you're not familiar, we were a writing and production team in the early 2000s who we pretty much wrote 90% of R&B in the early 2000s.
90%?
No, listen.
That's
Because
112 everybody?
we were writing so many, like if you came through, if you got a record deal, they sent you to the Underdogs. Like this is real shit. But it was also maybe 12, 13 of us.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were a machine. We were Motown without the record label.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
we were Holland Dozier. Holland, we were, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We were all of that in one building. And Damon Thomas and Harvey Mason Jr. is who initially it started with myself. It was us three. It started off with us three. Our first record was I Like Them Girls for Tyrese.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went on a run. And from that point, you got Tank, you got Tony Dixon, Eric Dawkins, James Fauntleroy, who did all of the
Incredible.
Yeah, like Rob Knox, who does all the Justin Timberlake stuff. Eric Dawkins from Dawkins and Dawkins, who wrote like How You Gonna Act Like That, and we got Little Ronnie, who did Sorry 2004.
Mm-hmm.
It was insane. And then there were just other people and other writers that were coming in with us too during this time, and that's how I met Tank. I met Tank through Damon. Damon was like, yo, because I had come back. I left.
You had left the game.
I didn't leave the game.
You
I
just-
left the production team.
Oh, okay.
I talked about it on my podcast. I was young. They didn't want to make me a partner. They wanted to give me, a side percentage, but didn't want to make me an equal partner, which as I grew up in the business, I learned why. For me, it was more, I just had sweat equity more so than I could afford to put into what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand at the time, but later on I was like, okay, maybe they could have, but since they didn't, I'm not going to hold a grudge to that because that's business-wise, it just didn't make sense to them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 18, 19 years old. They're already, close to 30, if not 30. They grown men. And I don't got no bread. All I got is my talent.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up leaving and going and doing NSYNC literally in the next week.
You went
Crazy.
from leaving them to
Yeah.
writing for NSYNC.
Yeah.
How did they feel about that?
I mean, I when I got my money, I drove back in my big car in my, you know what I mean? And I just did me.
Yeah.
But we were always partners, man. It wasn't like it was no issues. It was just like, Jay went off and did his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, NSYNC goes off and sells almost 2 million records in the first week. And I think it's at maybe 9 or 10 times platinum now.
I like how he does that. You see how he does that?
Because, but no, the reason why I don't know,
Uh-huh.
seriously don't know, is because for a long time, and it goes back to me talking about maybe I should order my plaque. I didn't order plaques. I wanted to feel unaccomplished.
Mm-hmm. Keep you hungry.
I wanted to keep my walls white.
Mm-hmm.
So the first plaque I got that someone actually gave me, which I still didn't order, I put it in my bathroom.
Wow. Wow. Well, you shit.
Right. Ain't that something?
Where the shit goes.
Where the shit goes.
Flesh.
What songs you write for NSYNC?
I wrote a song called Celebrity, which was the title song.
Oh, yeah,
Damn.
the title's so fucking
Yeah.
You wrote Celebrity?
Damn.
Yeah.
They named a whole project over that.
That's
He
dope.
from the Bay, yo. The Bay need to know these things.
Yeah. Myself, Justin, and Wade Robson.
Wade Robinson.
You put it's no I in his name. bro.
Robson.
It's Rob.
Robson.
Yeah,
I
he's
said it.
from Australia, mate.
Wasn't Wade in
Yep.
And Quo.
Quo?
Mhm.
Wasn't he in You Got Served? Was that
He
it?
was in.
You Got Served?
They made the movie around him. And then, yeah.
Oh.
We were writing production partners at that time.
Thought you were gonna say if he was in Britney Spears.
Man,
What time is it?
Almost
Yes,
there.
Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Username.
And Britney
password.
Spears.
Get out.
Listen,
Tracy, you go ahead and ask that question. You get us
So
out
we
of
could
that.
go home.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay out them white people business, man.
stay out.
Go ahead.
Well, Jay, I wanted
The white people.
to zoom in on writing.
Okay.
Because the conversations we have about writing in R&B are very different from the conversations we have about writing in hip hop.
I know where this is going.
When R&B artists collaborate, it's simply called a writer. If a hip hop artist has other folks he's collaborated with, it's called a ghostwriter, right? You see multiple names under a song title is accepted if it's an R&B song. Multiple names under a song title for hip hop is looked at with suspicion.
Okay.
What is your understanding of the difference, and is that difference necessary for both genres?
I think the term, right? Because an R&B singer is considered an R&B artist. A rapper is a rapper. It's very seldom they say rap artist. They don't really do that, right? They say rapper. So there are different rules to being a rapper from what I know.
Right.
And I've never been a rapper, but all the rules I've ever heard were if you're a rapper, you got to write your raps. Am I correct?
Yeah, so far, so
we
true.
We in a hip hop room.
100%.
We're in a hip hop.
This is a hip hop room.
100% accurate.
It's always that has always been the code, right? If we go to the streets, there's a code to the streets. If you're in the streets, you can't take the stand. If you're a civilian, it's like, hey, that's somebody, auntie and grandmama. You did that crime or you hurt somebody in her family. The rules are different for her. But if you in the streets, you can't be in there talking about yes sir and yes ma'am. Right? So that's where we have from the street side of it to the music side of it. So I think I will take the R&B side as more of the civilians. We are the civilians, and you can go get you a record from the auntie, right? I'm trying to make it all make sense, right? So, but I think as an artist, right, and I know who this is geared toward. I've always looked at that man as an artist. And that's why he's had the success that he's had, because he's been able to look at himself as an artist.
Are we talking about Drake?
I did not say a name. I'm just saying the situation.
Just a little clarity. That's all. My bad.
But yes, I've always looked at Drake as an artist.
Okay.
Right? I didn't really look at Drake as like the rapper guy, which he may look at himself as that, but as a fan. Because I'm still a fan.
Yeah.
I buy music.
Same.
As is all of us.
Same.
Yes.
Some people ain't fans, bro.
I'm
some
a fan.
people, but
I'm a fan.
what I've learned in this business is that some people are not fans.
Yeah.
They are not fans.
What
bro.
are they?
I don't know. I don't really know what to call them, because I don't really use the whole hater thing.
Uh-huh.
But I just don't think that they're fans, man. They listen to the music and they listen to it with a different mind. Because I've also never been the guy who sees someone and says, I want their life or what they have. I literally celebrate it as a fan. Like, oh, that's great that you can do a triple backflip. I'll never be able to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with that. Same thing, like people, they talk to me about with Tank. Man, I'll never be able to sing like Tank. Ever. I will admit that flat out. And that is not a knock to me and my voice. That nigga just different.
Yeah.
Some people are just different. Usher different. Chris different. R. Kelly different. Like, these guys are just, they have something about them that's special. But I'll go back to the writer thing. So within writing, as an R&B artist, you should try to get the best songs possible.
Okay.
So if someone can bring you songs that help tell your story at this stage of your life, you better take them songs, because hit records don't come every day. They do not come every day. And if the rappers want to continue to believe that, they might be asking, how can I help you? What pump you want 20 on?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe he just.
That's true though.
What pump you want 20? Why they gotta be a gas station?
Because what happens is we put so much time into this skill
that we don't
really develop other skills. So if you don't have this, you might be pumping gas.
So hip hop would benefit from more artists.
Absolutely. To me.
Right.
That's just my opinion, though.
Meaning that if
It
we
would-
embraced more collaboration,
It would help with longevity. Cause you gonna run out, bro. Like, what's keeping me young is my kids. My kids keep me young. My son, I walk by his room and sometimes it makes my head hurt. Cause I'm like, what the hell is this? And then I'm like, why does he like this? Oh, that struck a chord for him. So now me as the songwriter, now I am mindful when I'm writing songs of what connects. Because the other part that artists get caught up in, the world don't stop with you.
Nah.
no.
It does not stop. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put it out when I feel like it.
Okay.
I'm talking to myself now.
Okay. Yeah. It's kind of shit you said to yourself.
Self-reflection.
Right? But I am a self-reflector.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I'm on bullshit. You know what I mean? And I admit it. And I've been there. But for me, I've just been able to pivot differently than most artists.
Word.
My man Jay Valentine is here, man. This is amazing.
Great
Now we're going to have to come back because he don't do this.
Right.
So I didn't want to ask him everything so I could get him to commit to coming back and doing a part 2.
For the sequel?
Yeah, it's a whole lot of other stuff I was going to ask, but I just like hearing him talk. I've never seen him do an interview like, other been being on the other side now.
Yeah.
Hey, what's it like on the other side?
I like it, bro.
Yeah?
I like it. I like it because I feel like I like it because I feel like we have created a safe space for the artist.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
We not on the foolishness, bro. I'm not about clickbait at all. Like, and I think because we came into podcasting or the media space, that's what I would say. We're in the media space. We came into the media space already accomplished and already being able to pay for our lifestyle. So it wasn't like we were gonna come into this space, you guys' space, just for a bag. Because we could have got a super bag if we just talked about all the foolishness.
Yeah.
Because I see it and I know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was at some of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I was in some of it?
Maybe.
What
You
happened?
know what I mean?
He said at.
But I was at. You know what I mean? But listen, if
He
I
said
might have been a participation.
Might have.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But
Could have happened.
could have happened, right? But I didn't want us, and we didn't want us to be in that space because that's not who we are as humans outside of this thing. You know, you guys all know us. I've been up in here with Tank where I be
Right
all the way, or maybe even walk outside.
Yeah. Scared of the mic.
Right? And that's who we just are as people. When I come in here, I'm going to say hello to everyone. Everybody has the same, as the same level for me.
Yeah.
As a person, like I just have respect for people. So I wouldn't get into this space where I know we got this spotlight and we got this platform that's becoming a really important and huge platform and do some bullshit.
I love it. Jay Valentine, R&B Money, Tank, new single, Chris Brown.